In the early 15th century, Europe was a continent torn by a brutal and unrelenting conflict known as the 100 Years' War. For nearly a century, England and France fought for supremacy, each claiming the right to rule over the other. The struggle was relentless, but one moment in time would come to define the course of history. And that moment was the Battle of Agincourt. The year is 1415. King Henry V of England has spent years fighting for his crown, establishing his claim to the French throne. Despite being the rightful heir, his presence on French soil is viewed with contempt by the French, who reject his authority. England has already suffered many losses in this long, exhausting war. But Henry, determined to claim his birthright, marches into France. His journey begins with the siege of Harfleur, where his forces, weary and hungry, take the city after a grueling battle. But their victory is bittersweet. The weather turns, supplies run low, and Henry's men are exhausted. With no time to waste, he orders his troops to march towards Calais, the English stronghold on the continent. But there is one more obstacle in his path. The French have learned of his movement, and they will not let him pass. The French army, led by a coalition of noblemen, is massive, estimated at 20,000 to 30,000 men, including the finest knights, soldiers, and archers. They are confident. The English, by contrast, are ragged, their ranks thinned to about 6,000 soldiers. The disparity in numbers is staggering. The French believe they have already won. As King Henry and his army march across the rugged French countryside, the weight of the war grows heavier. They know they are outnumbered. They know they are weak, but there is no turning back. Calais awaits, and the French will stop at nothing to keep them from it. The tension mounts. The French, eager to crush this small invading force, gather on the horizon. Their heavy cavalry, the pride of their military, is ready for battle. The knights, resplendent in shining armor, stand tall, ready to charge at the first sign of English weakness. To them, this is just another victory, another battle to add to their storied legacy. Henry, too, stands at the front, but unlike his foes, he is not a king only by birthright. He is a commander, a man who knows the weight of battle, the importance of strategy. And as he surveys the battlefield, he understands that this will not be a fight of strength, but of intelligence, determination, and tactics. As both armies prepare to face each other, the tension is palpable. The air is thick with the scent of sweat, blood, and uncertainty. The soldiers on both sides know that in mere hours, the earth beneath them will be soaked with the blood of their comrades and enemies alike. The battle begins. The French charge, their heavy cavalry thundering across the battlefield, a terrifying sight. The English men-at-arms form ranks and brace for the assault. The longbowmen, however, remain calm, their eyes trained on the advancing French. The French knights, arrogant in their numbers, rush forward with their lances held high, ready to crush the English in one mighty sweep. But as they charge, the mud, soaked by weeks of rain, slows them down. Their heavy armor, once a symbol of invincibility, becomes a burden, trapping them in the muck. And then it happens. The English longbowmen, positioned on the flanks, release a storm of arrows. The sound is deafening. 1,000 arrows raining down upon the French. The longbowmen, mere peasants who've become soldiers, are the unsung heroes of this battle. With each pull of the bowstring, they change the course of history. The arrows pierce through the air, striking down the French knights and their horses. The cavalry charge falters. The heavy knights, once the pride of France, are now falling, helpless, stuck in the mud, their armor rendering them immobile. The once invincible French army begins to crumble. Henry's forces, though fewer in number, fight with an unyielding resolve. The men-at-arms press forward, their swords cutting through the confusion. In the distance, King Henry, calm and steadfast, leads his men with courage. He doesn't fight for glory. He fights for survival, for his kingdom, for his people. As the dust settles, the battlefield is strewn with the bodies of the fallen. The sound of victory is muted by the cost of war. The English have won, but at what price? The French, shattered and broken, have lost tens of thousands of men. The nobility, the elite, the finest warriors in France, have been slaughtered. Hundreds of French knights lie dead on the field, their armor a grave reminder of the arrogance that led them to underestimate the English. The English, too, mourn their dead. Around 300 soldiers have fallen, but their victory has changed the course of history. King Henry V has achieved the impossible. Against overwhelming odds, against a far stronger foe.